You're listening to the Fitness Business Podcast. We'd like to thank today's podcast partner, Active Management. Go to www.fitnessbusinesspodcast.com/active to access one of 4 Active Management VIP resources. Welcome along to a special edition of the Fitness Business Podcast. Our regular listeners will know that once per month, we take a deep dive in the trenches to hear all about the cool stuff that owners and managers are doing in our industry. And as part of our Women in Fitness Month, we have 2 bonus shows where we not only get to meet and learn from expert guests, but we also get to take a look inside their award-winning, market-leading businesses. Today's guest is Carrie Kepple, club manager of Les Mills Newmarket in Auckland, New Zealand, a club that has done what most only dream about. Their membership is at capacity. I'm certain that many of you will know Carrie. She is an entrepreneurial leader with a decade of international and senior level fitness business management. She's a strategic leader of club business, an advocate for women in leadership, and, as we're going to hear today, she's an expert when it comes to opening new clubs. To add to all of that, Carrie has also recently been appointed to the IHRSA Board of Directors, and she's a founding member of WIFA, the Women in Fitness Association. During the interview, Carrie gives us insights into Les Mills Newmarket, the role of virtual fitness in the club, and the 30-minute formats that they run. We dive straight into the interview today, where I've just asked Carrie to tell us all about Les Mills Newmarket.
This was an exciting club, and there's an entire team at Les Mills New Zealand that strategized the club design for this club. And why I say it's exciting is we flipped the traditional club model on its head. So 70% of our exercise space is dedicated to group fitness studios, and only 30% of our exercise space is the gym floor. And a lot of people said, how are you ever going to make that model work financially? Because we know in club business there are peaks of our day, and there are times when our studios sit vacant, or at least they used to. So then we were charged with incorporating tools and resources to ensure that we kept those studios busy for as much a part of the day as we possibly could. And we made group fitness and these studios the cornerstone of our entire club operations. And when I say entire club operations, I mean across all departments. It's woven and integrated, and it becomes the main feature of what we communicate and what we do. So the way in which we are doing this is all through strategies of capacity management. And basically, there are technologies now that afford us the opportunity to keep studios busy. Like we have a studio that has got a 9-screen video wall that is very sexy, and it's playing virtual group fitness classes in the times when our live classes are not on. And right now, so we have that going, virtual classes all throughout the day. And also in our cycle studio, we have virtual cycle classes going when our live are not on. And what I can tell you is that currently 75% of our total club attendances are going to our classes, and 27.5% of those are going to virtual. Right. So you could walk past one of our studios at 3:30 in the afternoon and you'll see 40 people in there doing body pump to the video.
Wow.
It's insane. But we did that. The way in which we made that work, which is, I get this question a lot, is it's quite funny, but the best advice I could give anybody who's going to bring virtual into their club is timetable virtual classes on the same schedule that you do live and in the same manner that you do live, because you want to create the mentality that one is not better than the other. Because if you schedule them separately and you treat them like 2 separate things, you're going to create Democrats versus Republicans amongst your members. Mm-hmm. You're going to create people who, are on one side or the other with it. And what you want to do is tap into the idea that virtual affords you the opportunity to have convenience to any class in your day, so that we offer you more classes more often, which means if you can only come to the gym at 2:00 today, you still have a workout here ready for you that is on the schedule. So people really started to appreciate the convenience factor of that. So that spread the load throughout. That really helped us spread the load of attendance away from our peaks and into more of our off-peak times, so that we could cater to more people more often, and we could start to sell memberships to people who do odd things like shift work, who otherwise would not have joined the gym because there was not an assisted workout there for them already. And this allowed us that opportunity. The other thing that we did is we incorporated 30-minute classes into our timetable, whether that's 30-minute high-intensity pre-existing programs, or it's taking some of our hour programming and putting the 30-minute version of it on. But I remember 5 years ago in the industry, we wouldn't have been able to do this because members would have complained. They would have felt gypped by not getting that hour workout. So this is a really interesting time we're in, because I think it's really being communicated well, and it's starting to be communicated really well in our industry that if you work hard enough, 30 minutes is all you need. And I think we can thank HIIT training for that, because high intensity interval training has become such a trend for consumers and members that now they understand that maybe an hour isn't necessarily necessary depending on how hard you work. So what we've been able to do with that is actually over 50% of our timetable is currently 30-minute classes, which is crazy. But from a strategy point of view, it's kind of like turning tables at a restaurant. You know, you want to give quality service and experience, but you don't necessarily, depending on the restaurant, of course, you don't necessarily want people to sit there all night, because you want to turn that table to get a new set of customers in that you can service. So because you're utilizing that one space. The same kind of concept is interesting when you think about it within gyms. If we can start training people faster and getting them results, but servicing them in a really quality way in a shorter amount of time, we can actually better manage our capacity of the physical space that we have, which allows us to service more people throughout the day, because we are limited by our physical space and the time that we are open each day. So how we strategically maximize on those two potential limitations to spread the load of attendance throughout all hours of the day, and then turn those tables faster, so we're getting happy people in the door and out the door faster, there all of a sudden you are working in a very efficient way. You're not having dead space in your club. You are not losing the opportunity to sell to members who want to work out at odd times. You're not getting the sense that your gym is overcrowded, because it's actually, you feel that consistent energy and attendance throughout the whole day rather than just before and after work as such. Yeah, and all of a sudden you're running a really smart business that fills really quickly.
Carrie, I've got a couple of quick questions for you. First of all, so you said that 50% of your classes now are 30-minute formats.
Yep.
Is that a mixture of live and virtual?
Yes, it is.
It is. And this is the group fitness instructor in me wants to know the answer to this one.
Yeah.
So with the room where you've got Body Pump being broadcast on a screen, and then the other room that you talked about where I think you said there was 9 screens on the wall and that's playing a different program, then you've got your cycle. How does supervision go in those classes? Is there a team member that goes in and out of those classes? Because I know it's a question that has been asked to me previously is, if you've got people doing Body Pump without an instructor, then who's checking on form and stuff like that? So how do you handle that?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And I think especially in New Zealand and Australia in the last year with health and safety is a big buzzword.
It's a big focus for us, yeah.
Big focus for us with the new legislation. Health and safety is a big one for us. We have a model here where we have gym instructors that monitor the gym and help members with things like spotting them as well as getting them started with exercise. But I've definitely worked in gyms in the past where we didn't have gym instructors, but we utilized our personal trainers in that capacity. I think it's a matter of which here in New Zealand, our personal trainers are contractors, not employees. But our gym instructors are employees. They go in and out of the virtual classes mostly to monitor the general health and safety of the place, like make sure that everybody's still upright and exercising, In terms of form, it's an interesting one. The coaching on those DVDs is quality enough that you look in that room and people are, for the most part, exercising properly, And we have not come across an incident yet, knock on wood, where someone has just been doing the exercise so wrong that they've injured themselves. And I find that interesting because that was a huge concern with us at the beginning, incorporating all of this virtual fitness is just that. Will people exercise properly? Will they hurt themselves? But it is fascinating that quality coaching cues and good visual representation of role modeling, great technique, it gets people understanding what to do, and they're doing it. But
fantastic.
Yeah.
Excellent. I would love to grab, if you've got, Carrie, any images or any little videos that you might have of those virtual classes taking place that we could share on the show notes page.
Cool.
Of the website, because I think people will be really fascinated, as I am, to see it in progress and to see it happening. So thank you for giving us that kind of behind the scenes look at how you've set up the club and how you've, as you say, flipped the traditional model on its head and made group fitness the majority focus of your membership and of your club. That was really fascinating to hear.
Cool, you're welcome.
Now, I mentioned earlier that you're, of course, one of the founding members of WIFA, and this is our Women in Fitness Month. So I was wondering, what does WIFA, Women in Fitness Association, mean to you?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that women in fitness is such a great topic. As women in leadership, women in influence, whatever you want to say, is such a great topic because it hits me in the heart because there are some fabulous women in this industry that supported me along my journey, and I would not be where I am if I hadn't had them in my life. And so I think what Women in Fitness, when I saw it, I thought, wow, what a great opportunity to network with each other. What a great opportunity to have a platform to meet other women in fitness at any level of their career, learn from them, but also to give back what the fabulous woman in my life gave to me. And if I can help one other woman in this industry, grow their career and be successful, I would be so stoked with that because I think it's really important that we do network and rely on and learn from each other and grow in that way. So, yeah, I was really excited to see that come in.
And Carrie, what advice would you give to women that are currently forging their career in the fitness industry?
Oh, man, I just back yourself. Like I know I say this a lot if I'm writing a blog or anything, but I think sometimes as women, we've all heard the old imposter syndrome where we feel like, oh, I'm not going to go for that potential opportunity because I'm not an expert at it yet, or I'm not perfect at it yet. And I think we should stop trying to be perfect and just back ourselves, put our hand up, even if we don't know everything, and then just trust that we have what it takes to be resourceful and figure it out. Because if you don't take the opportunity, someone's going to, So I think networking is the key as well. Just meet people, learn what they have to share. Ask their stories, ask great questions. And then lastly, really focus on having excellent communication skills, because I think that that's key to success, being able to communicate really well with others. And I think it comes from a place of emotional intelligence and empathy. Try to determine what or how to communicate by first empathizing and then utilizing your emotional intelligence to craft your response and your delivery, because I think that that's hugely important. And people will want to work with you more when you come from that place and you have great communication skills. And just be authentic, own who you are, show all sides of yourself, the good, the silly, the bad, the ugly, the fun, whatever it is, just be real.
Carrie, I mentioned earlier that you're, of course, now on the board of IHRSA. So tell us about that experience and what your expectations are.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate and grateful to have been appointed to the IHRSA board. For me, it's about giving back and serving our great fitness industry and doing what I can to help grow, promote, and protect it. I love what IHRSA stands for. I always have. It's such a great association, and it helps really guide our industry globally. And, in my limited experience so far, which has only included 2 board meetings, I have gotten a very great understanding and introduction into what the board can help IHRSA as an association to influence. I think that it's such a great opportunity to tackle big issues and opportunities for our industry, look to the future, and help really preserve our industry and grow it. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to my time in the next 4 years serving on this board with the amazing people that are on it now and doing what I can to, like I said, help grow, promote, and protect our industry.
That's wonderful. Now, we finish off each of our shows, Carrie, with our Fitbispiration. And today I'm hoping you can share with us your top 3 tips for progressing through an organisation into a leadership role. Usually at this point we take a quick ad break, but given today our focus is on digging into the nitty-gritty detail and getting in the trenches with fitness owners, I thought we wouldn't let today's podcast partner get away quite so easily. So I've invited JT from Active Management onto the show to ask him a few questions. JT, thank you for being our podcast partner for In the Trenches. Tell me, what made you decide to support this series?
All the guests you have on the show are totally awesome, Chantal. They share so many great ideas, takeaways and insights. But for us, the In the Trenches segments are real-life owners and managers sharing really cool stuff that they've done where they've turned the guest theory into practical actions. And that's the most rewarding part of running a business coaching program like Active Management does, where we hear about the actions and results of our clients. It gives us a warm fuzzy inside. So that's why we're supporting the In the Trenches, because it's the actions that people are doing.
Okay, so talking about actions, I know that you listen to a lot of podcasts, not just this one. So talk us through what your tips are when it comes to implementing ideas from the podcast that you listen to.
Well, I guess you could even use these steps for when you read a book or when you attend a conference, but let's imagine it's just a podcast at this point. So the first thing I do is I obviously listen to the podcast and I'll take notes using the Notes app on my phone. If I'm listening to it while I'm on a treadmill or working out or something like that, then I obviously have to go back and listen a second time. The second step is that I then go to the show notes, and because I've recorded the links from the initial listening, I then just can go straight to the show notes and look at what links there are there, click on them, check out what I need to. And if the show is really relevant to what I'm doing or where I'm at in my business, I'll look for the transcript and I'll transcribe the transcript.
Already done for you.
It's already done. I'll just download the transcript. Then once I've got all of that, I've got all my knowledge, I then really try to identify the top 2, maybe 3 ideas that I want to take from the show with what I want to do with. I kind of listen to it and I go, okay, I want to do something with that knowledge. And so I then brain dump a whole bunch of macro ideas, put a timeline down and identify who's responsible for that. And so sometimes it's then just going, okay, now I need to micro it down from that big idea. So that's probably it.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing those tips. I think you're right. I think regardless of where the original educational content comes from, that sort of flow or that process that you just talked us through is something that we can utilise to action ideas. So thank you for that.
Can I just say,
you can.
What's really important for me is the title of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I look at the title of the podcast or the title of the book, it helps me then go in with an agenda of what I'm trying to learn.
Yep.
So if I'm going in with an open agenda, then I'll often walk away with 5, 6, 7 ideas. But if I'm going and going, oh, this one's about Facebook ads, I'm going and going, okay, I want to know how to retarget. So I'm listening for that retargeting. So I've kind of got an agenda around what I'm listening for.
Do you find that when you go into the show notes, the fact that you can actually see like time-stamped where the show is at, the timeline, is that beneficial?
100%, especially when I'm going back a second time. Mm-hmm. So the first time I listen to it all the way through, but if I need to go back the second time and hear what the person said, that timestamp's just critical.
Yeah, good. Glad to hear it. So I wanted to get you on not only to talk about the show, but to talk about active management, because the other day I was sitting at my computer and I got this email came through, and it was from Active Management Membership, and the page was full of social media tiles on why people should do personal training. It was absolute gold. So I thought maybe you can talk us through and let everyone know how active management can actually help the FBP family when it comes to their business in the trenches.
Yeah, sure. So we've got a community of fitness business owners, managers and team members who receive and share really practical compliment. They complement each other.
Is that too?
But they're really practical content to implement in their business. Mm-hmm. So we at Active Management, we listen to what people in the industry want to help make their lives easier as owners, managers, or people trying to develop a career. And then from that, we then develop our content and we provide it. So we try to be a one-stop shop in relation to content. So, for example, we've got some marketing templates that people can use. You saw the personal training social media mems, but we actually have over 400 of these now, which basically members can just plonk their logo straight on and then they can use them on Instagram and Facebook. We also do a monthly Q&A where our community can ask me questions and I answer them on a Facebook Live. And this is exclusive to our members. So in other words, our members get an hour of Q&A with me every single month.
So just go back a little bit, because you said in there marketing templates. Tell us a little bit more about that. If I'm a club owner, what do I get access to exactly?
Okay, so with the marketing templates, you go onto the Member Hub and we have reactivation programs. We've got birthday cards, we've got thank you cards, we've got outreach cards, we've got just general sort of flyers, and the artwork's already done. All the member of Active Management has to do is just go in, put in their logo, put in their club details and put in their offer and send it off to the printer.
Hey presto, all done for you.
So we try really hard to get one of those out every month.
Nice. That's awesome. Okay, so how can the FBP family be a part of the active management community?
Okay, so you just got to go to www.activemgmt.com.au/membership options. You can get started for as low as $50 a year, and that's our bronze membership. So that's www.activemgmt.com.au/membership options.
Well, JT, thank you very much for dropping by today, joining us in the trenches and telling us all about the Active Management membership. And just a quick reminder to everyone, just head over to www.activemgmt.com.au/membership options and you can join the Active Management community right now. Thanks, JT.
Thank you.
Let's go back to Carrie now with her top tips on progressing through an organisation into a leadership role.
Make every opportunity, big or small, that you get, just nail it and think about how you're perceived, because, be professional and really nail every opportunity to get yourself top of mind for the next one that might come up. Be easy to work with. We call it being easy to do business with, but I think being easy to work with is another great tip. Have an open mind and don't get too emotionally attached to things. Be able to debate things and hear other points of view openly and adapt if you need to. And I would say it's never going to be the road is never going to match what is in your head, but you got to find the opportunity within every scenario and go with it. Try not to be so rigid. Be open to how the career might adapt or change. And I suppose just be fluid.
I want to say a big thank you to Carrie for coming on the show and for sharing those insights into Les Mills Newmarket. If you want to take a look at some of those virtual classes that we spoke about, I've included a few images in this week's show notes over at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. So jump on over and check them out.
Pre-Core Quickfire 5.
Jennifer Gluckow is the CEO and founder of Sales in a New York Minute. Welcome to your Pre-Core Quickfire 5 questions, Jennifer.
It is amazing to be here.
We are so excited to have you on. Now, can you get us started by telling everyone, why do you do what you do?
I do what I do because I love what I do, and I try to set the example for what others do. So I love what I do, and I try to convey that to my audiences. Love what you do.
And what's the best piece of advice that you've ever received?
My dad said, the harder you work, the luckier you get. And my dad was the hardest worker I've ever met. And as a result, the luckiest guy on the planet.
I have heard that advice before. It's very good advice. And what's a personal habit that helps you become better at what you do?
2 things. I finish what I start, and I do everything with the same intensity. Working, shopping, vacationing, working out, all the same. Full force.
And what's one book, podcast, or blog that you would recommend and why?
I may be biased. No, wait. I am biased because Jeffrey Gitomer is my partner, but the best sales book out there is 21.5 Unbreakable Laws of Selling.
I kind of expected that you'd have to lean that way, or you'd have to promote your own podcast, right?
Well, you asked book,
Yeah, exactly. That's fair enough. You're totally allowed to do that. And tell everyone, why should our FBP family come back next week and listen to the main show?
Come back next week and get amazing strategies you can implement in a New York minute.
Well, Jen, I am super excited to have you on the show next week. I can feel your energy from here already, so thank you so much for joining us for the Pre-Call Quickfire 5.
Pleasure.
Before I sign off today's show, I want to tell you about a very exciting event coming up in just a few weeks' time. We're hosting our next FBP family meetup on the first day of Club Industry 2017. The date is Wednesday, October the 4th, and it's happening at a nice, bright, early 6 a.m. in the morning. We're going to meet in the foyer of the Hilton Hotel in Chicago, and of course, it is free. Everyone is invited to come along. It's an active networking event. Basically, what we do is we walk for about 45 minutes. We're going all around Millennium Park, and then we return back to the Hilton just before 7 o'clock for the first day of Club Industry. The FBP Family Meetup is the perfect way to start your day, and you never know who you might meet during the meetup. To register, all you need to do is go to fitnessbusinesspodcast.com, and up the top of the homepage, you'll see a link there that says Meetup. All you need to do is click on that link and it takes you through to the registration page. I hope that I will see lots of you there. Thank you so much once again for including the Fitness Business Podcast as part of your weekly professional development. I would love you to share the show with your team, and don't forget all of the resources, the links and the transcripts for today's show can also be found at fitnessbusinesspodcast.com. Thank you so much to all of our partners for their support, and of course to our foundation partner, Active Management. Once again, that link from earlier was www.fitnessbusinesspodcast.com/active for your free business development ebook. That is everything for this week. I will see you next week. And remember, what you leave behind is not what's engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others.